While the three accused Duke boys, on the other hand, they have solid alibis, as two of them had left the party that night before the alleged SA had even occurred. So none of this looks good for Precious or Nifong's case. Anyway, eventually the defense team catches on that Nifong's been withholding and tampering with evidence, and so they start accusing him of prosecutorial misconduct. And so then Nifong has no choice, and he has to go and drop the charges against all three lacrosse boys, and the boys are finally fully exonerated. Then, Nifong, because he intentionally withheld evidence from the court and other acts of fraud, he gets disbarred, so he's no longer allowed to practice law. He also later gets removed from office over all this, so he's no longer district attorney. He also gets found in contempt of court, and he gets sentenced to 1 day in jail. While the Duke boys, they file a lawsuit and sue Duke University over the way they handled this, and the university ends up settling with them out of court for a large amount of money. Allegedly, each of the accused boys got $20 million each, but that's just alleged because we don't actually know the amount. It was never publicly disclosed. While Precious, who made the false allegations in the first place, nothing happens to her. No legal punishment, no jail time, she just moves on with her life. Like later, she goes on to graduate college, she writes a book, and in that book, she still maintains that she was SA'd that night. But whatever the case, there are no consequences for her, and she doesn't see any prison time. Until over 4 years go by, and it's now 2011. And Precious, she's still out there living her life. And one night, she's at her apartment and she and her boyfriend get into a fight. Like a really bad fight. And she ends up stabbing him with a kitchen knife. And so, bam, she gets arrested. Here's her mugshot. 10 days later, in the hospital, her boyfriend, unfortunately, dies. And so she gets convicted of second-degree murder and she's sentenced to 17 years in prison. Then, in 2024, Precious does an interview from prison where she finally admits that she lied about the whole lacrosse team SA thing.
I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't, and that was wrong.
That is insane.